It's Wednesday, October 25. In headlines, 5 additional ailments added to NHF benefit cards. In business news, 138 student living APO closed. Regionally, Caribbean moves launched. Internationally, U.S. states sue Meta, Instagram, over kids' mental health. And in sports, an update on the CG United Regional Super 50 Cup. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Minister of Labour Pernille Charles is on a fact-finding mission in Canada aimed at tabling and resolving the issues surrounding the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. In a statement, the ministry reports that he has met with several employers and scores of Jamaicans working in the program. Minister Charles Jr. also conducted meetings with 21 employers and employer representatives who employ a combined total of 930 Jamaican workers. In a meeting with the employers, they shared their concerns about the program, including workers going absent without leave, which leads to the high cost of retraining and the poor attitude and work ethics of some of the farm workers. The minister is quoted saying, "This fact-finding trip has allowed me a first-hand look at the program, and based on my observations, I will be implementing improved measures to address areas of concern to ensure that both the employers and employees' concerns are addressed." End quote. Minister Charles Jr. and his delegation will return to Jamaica later this week. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says her team wants to increase and maintain the literacy rate at grade 4 levels by 2026. She says the ministry wants to get back to the 85% literacy rate by the end of the academic year.
We are going to do this by targeting 126 primary schools and 56 secondary schools. These are the ones with that got an unsatisfactory rating on certain key performance indicators, and we looked at, there are 4 such indicators. Teaching in support for learning, we looked at that. Student academic performance, students' academic progress, and the curriculum and enhancement programs that are in the particular school.
According to Minister Williams, all 248 underperforming schools will be getting support to enhance their literacy programs. Meanwhile, the ministry has been piloting some additional literacy programs in schools.
In certain schools to help us as we go forward. The first one I want to mention is the Literacy Education Acceleration Program called LEAP. That's a program in which 6 schools were selected in Region 1 and 4. The program was used to bridge the gap in literacy. It was a pilot program. We have results, and we are quite impressed with the results. 10 hours of intervention on this program resulted in improvements by 8 months in reading and 6 months in spelling ages.
She says the data from the LEAP program shows 60% of the treatment group improved at least 1 grade level.
29% increased by 2 or more grade levels, and 10% increased by 3 or more grade levels, and this was in 10 hours. We were also piloting the Creative Language-Based Learning Foundations program, and we are seeing good results here as well. And this program we will continue in our schools.
Minister Williams says members of the Peace Corps Jamaica have been helping in training in literacy volunteers, lesson planning, and administration. The Education Minister was speaking at the weekly post-cabinet press brief on Wednesday. Up to 50,000 Jamaicans will now have access to additional subsidized medications under the National Health Fund. The additional medications cover colorectal and lung cancer, multiple myeloma, Parkinson's disease, and thyroid disease. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, was at the launch on Tuesday.
Cancer is a topical issue, not just today, but has been for some time, and it is regional. In April 2023, publication of Jamaica Vitals, which is our data-driven newsletter coming out of our epidemiology unit in the Ministry of Health, says that the NCD edition for cancer is shown to be the leading cause of death in the island, accounting for some 23.7% of non-communicable diseases and 18.9% of all deaths in 2020, an estimated 7,348 new cancer cases, 4,746 cancer deaths in 2021.
Approximately $450 million was committed to the initiative, and the NHF card will offer subsidies across 460 pharmacies. Dr. Tufton describes the addition of the conditions as timely and significant, reminding Jamaicans that cancer is the second leading cause of death in Jamaica and is a growing problem among other non-communicable diseases in the country. The NHF now provides subsidized medications for 22 ailments. Jamaicans can access the service by signing up and collecting their NHF cards. Approximately 350,000 Jamaicans currently depend on the NHF program for care. 138 Student Living APO is now closed. We have that story plus your usual market updates in the business report with Danita Rodney.
The 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited APO closed on Monday, October 23. The company is now preparing to move forward with using the funds raised to reduce a portion of its $4.2 billion debt stock. According to reports, the move will stabilize the company's finances, enabling it to explore growth opportunities. Chairman of 138SL, Ian Prasad, thanked those who supported the APO and announced that the company is expected to be able to pay semi-annual dividends of up to 90% in the future. 138 Student Living offers long-term student accommodation in 1,464 rooms and short-term accommodation in 72 rooms at 4 locations on the UWI campus under 2 concession agreements. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, October 24, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.69. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $112.80. The pound sterling traded for $190.17, and the euro sold for $166.14. In GSE trading, the GSE index advanced by over 2,426 points. The junior market index advanced by over 38 points. The combined market index advanced by over 2,615 points. And the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by over 262 points. Overall market activity resulted in trading in 104 stocks, of which 46 advanced, 39 declined, and 19 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were Consolidated Bakers Jamaica Limited, Derrimont Trading Company Limited, and Dollar Financial Services Limited. The overall volume leaders were Wigton Windfarm Limited ordinary shares with over 4 million units, Dollar Financial Services Limited, and Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Calypso Macro Index Fund posted a volume of 1,200 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Government of Barbados Bond Series 1 was the sole security trading over 19,000 shares. In regional business, the region is poised for top-tier investment opportunities. That's according to Bahamian Prime Minister Philip Davis, who brought the keynote speech at the opening ceremony for the 2023 Caribbean Investment Forum.
The forum, which spans over 2 days, will spark discussions on 4 key components among regional stakeholders, including agriculture technology, renewable energy, ICT, digital business, and fintech and logistics and transport. Prime Minister Davis says the forum must be more of just a meeting of the minds.
Our government stands steadfast, ready to facilitate and champion investments across a vast spectrum of sectors. We are not just open for business, we are your committed partners in progress. Each of our counterparts in the Caribbean have their own unique selling points and strengths. A major factor that makes the prospect of investing in the Caribbean so intriguing is the wide range of possibilities inherent to our geographically, culturally, and economically diverse nations.
Now, the nation's leader says because of the region's geographical makeup and proximity to the United States, it's already poised as an ideal top-notch investment opportunity.
We are a top contender, providing fertile ground for profitable ventures. We pride ourselves on being a preferred investment jurisdiction. At our core lies a passionate and skilled workforce, always striving for excellence. In financial services, for example, we have among the highest rates of per capita expertise in the world.
In international business, Wall Street's main indexes ended higher as a string of solid corporate earnings and upbeat forecasts sparked a broad rally.
The Dow gained more than 0.6%, the S&P 500 added more than 0.7%, and the Nasdaq climbed over 0.9%. Sam Stovall, chief investment strategist at CFRA Research, credits an easing of the benchmark 10-year Treasury yield after spiking to 5% the day before.
I think investors are of the mindset that maybe this yield has peaked, at least for the near term. Add to that a week in which a third of the companies in the S&P 500 are going to report earnings, and so far so good. The companies that have reported in these first 2 days have come in better than expected, and I think that's setting the tone for the rest of the week.
Reporting after the bell, Alphabet topped quarterly earnings and revenue estimates, but its cloud division missed revenue estimates, sending its shares down more than 4% in after-hours trading. Microsoft, by contrast, beat quarterly estimates in all segments, driven by strength in its cloud computing and PC businesses. Shares climbed more than 3.5% after the close. In other earnings news, Verizon surged more than 9% after raising its annual free cash flow forecast, while General Electric rose 6.5% after the conglomerate lifted its full-year profit forecast. And Coca-Cola hiked its annual sales outlook, sending its stock up nearly 3%, while 3M rose more than 5% on the heels of its upbeat quarterly report.
In market data for oil benchmark Brent held above $88 on Wednesday as concerns about war escalating in the Middle East offset demand worries stemming from gloomy economic prospects in Europe. Brent crude futures were up 11 cents to $88.18, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures slipped 5 cents to $83.69 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, an initiative aimed at reducing the burden of non-communicable diseases in the Caribbean was launched on Tuesday by the Caribbean Public Health Agency in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness in Jamaica under the name Caribbean Moves.
Jamaica's Minister of Health and Wellness, Christopher Tufton, said the things that make up the Caribbean, like friendliness and enjoyment, can often be the things that cause individuals to develop NCDs.
But it also defines us as a nation that the very thing that we enjoy is contributing to our health profile in a very negative way. I don't know what the numbers look like in your respective territories, but I know in Jamaica, we have seen over the last decade a tapering off of life expectancy from 75 years and almost a gradual decline, largely because of premature mortality.
On Tuesday, the media caught up with Belize's Minister of Health and Wellness, Kevin Bernard, at a contract signing ceremony, where he gave an update on the investigation into the fake Tylenol that was being sold in supermarkets. When detected, the ministry immediately issued an advisory about the phony medication. The investigation is to reveal how the fake medication made it into the system and obviously did not enter the country legally.
These things definitely had to have come from through the black market, from through illegal means, because if you would have brought these in through normal process, these items would have been inspected, would have been picked up at the very inspection process, and if those persons, whoever brought it in, would have registered the Tylenol, we would have ensured that we would have picked that up. Now remember, there are certain over-the-counter drugs that does not require registration, Tylenol being one of them. However, as the Minister of Health and Wellness, we can apply certain sections of the Drug and Act, and we have already sought legal advice, and we are in the process now. In fact, last week I signed the Gazette, so that should be appearing in the Gazette in the 2 consecutive period, and then we are in the steps to also amend the legislation so that things like these cannot occur again, and we hold people responsible and accountable.
Do you guys have a figure of how many may have entered the country as yet?
That is yet to determine, because, like, as I said, we continuously are doing more inspections across the country. I have just returned over the weekend, and so I'm going to get a full brief from our director in terms of what found, what has been found, what has been dealt with, what has been destroyed, and then I will be able to provide a more in-depth update to you all. But definitely I can tell you that our drug inspector teams are out there making sure that these things are being checked, and that every stores who provide over-counter medication such as the Tylenol, if whoever is found with these things, then will have to face the necessary actions that the ministry will take thereafter.
In Barbados, with the advent and growth of technology, Minister of Health and Wellness, Senator Dr. Jerome Walcott, sees a role for new technologies as they become commonplace in the advancement of the health sector in the region. He welcomed the attention placed on the future as the Caribbean Association of Medical Technologists meet in Barbados. President of the Caribbean Association of Medical Technologists, Marcia Robinson Walters, says the organization has been championing the causes of healthcare since its inception in 1953.
The concept of smart labs, positioning laboratories at the cutting edge of diagnosis with the age-old parameters of accuracy and precision, will continue to give you confidence in your work and give patients and doctors even greater confidence. You must recognize that clinical laboratories are often among the first workplaces where innovative technologies, including e-health and mobile health, are applied on a daily basis, and that these emerging technologies will play a very important role in early disease detection and treatment, and by extension, will improve the delivery of healthcare to the citizens of our member states.
It is a fact that over 70% of all decisions a physician makes on one's health are based on laboratory results. And so, the clinical lab professional is a key member of the healthcare team. Emerging and re-emerging diseases and the COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot stop talking about that, you know. It has reminded us that there must be efficient and sustainable laboratory systems. And as the saying states, if we fail to plan, what do? We plan to fail.
In international news, dozens of U.S. states filed lawsuits against Meta Platforms and its Instagram unit, accusing them of fueling a youth mental health crisis by intentionally making their social media platforms addictive. More from Reuters.
In one of the lawsuits, the attorneys general of 33 states filed a joint complaint in the Oakland, California federal court on Tuesday, including New Jersey's Matt Platkin.
I'm joining dozens of other attorneys general across the United States in a massive undertaking to once and for all hold Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, and its CEO Mark Zuckerberg, accountable for the deceptive practices and years of harm they have brought upon our young people.
According to the court filing, they are accusing Meta of repeatedly misleading the public about the dangers of its platforms and knowingly inducing children and teenagers into compulsive social media use to, quote, maximize its financial gains.
There needs to be more transparency.
Much of the lawsuit stems from a whistleblower's release of documents in 2021 that showed the company knew Instagram, which began as a photo-sharing app, was addictive. And it points to research that has linked children's use of Meta social media platforms with depression, anxiety, insomnia, interference with education and daily life, and many other negative outcomes. Meta said in a statement it was disappointed that the states chose to sue, quote, instead of working productively with companies across the industry to create clear, age-appropriate standards for the many apps teens use. 8 other U.S. states and Washington, D.C. filed similar lawsuits against Meta in other courts on Tuesday. That means, in total, 42 jurisdictions are taking action against the California-based company. Meta could face civil penalties of up to $50,000 for each violation of various state laws. It's an amount that could add up quickly, given the millions of children and teenagers who use Instagram.
In sports, 11 matches have been competed in the CG United Regional Super 50 Cup at 3 venues in Trinidad. As we enter into the second week of matches, here's a roundup of the points and what's to come in week 2.
Isolated rains got the better of 2 matches last week, which can be taken as a win as we're at the peak of the hurricane season. The home side, the TNT Red Force, took full advantage of familiar conditions, winning 2 of their 3 matches with 1 no result. They are currently second on the table, tied with the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, both teams on 22 points. Cellar dwellers Jamaica Scorpions have lost both their matches and will require seamless wins to move to the top 4. The CWI Academy, Guyana and the CCC have all done well and with the new bonus point structure can move to the top. Meanwhile, Keon Otley leads the most run standings with Alec Athenaeus close behind. Darren Bravo has also been putting in consistent performances, resulting in him being third. In the bowling department, Daniel Durham from the Leewards is on top with 10 wickets and local boy Yannick Carrier on his heels with 9. Now looking ahead, Taruba welcomes 3 clashes with the Red Force in action on Thursday 26th at 1 p.m. The Queen's Park Oval hosts 4 games with the Red Force back on the field on Saturday 28th at 9 a.m. And matches also continue at the UWI St. Augustine campus on Wednesday 25th and Sunday 29th.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.